Greetings, all. Greetings to you and yours. So, I am coming on today to speak out about the Sonya Massey case. Let me make sure the volume is all the way up. So, greetings to everyone. Yes, let's talk about the Sonya Massey shooting. Um, and by the way, so this is going to be emotional. I'm going to try my best to put my emotions on the back burner so I can actually get through the story and give my opinions and my thoughts on this whole situation that has taken place. And let me just tell you, I am emotional. I am tired. Um, anyhow, so if this is your first time stopping by and you're liking what you see and everything with my channel, please go ahead and subscribe, and of course like this video, share the video, all of that good stuff. So I pray that everyone is doing well under these horrific situations that's been taking place a lot lately. You know, I pray for, blessings and favor over you and your family, to everyone that stops by and is positive. Amen. So anyways, I'm just sipping my coffee. It is morning where I am here in Florida. And let me just tell you, since I've heard about this case, I did actually see the video. I'm telling you, I haven't been right. I have not been right. So, like I said, I just really wanted to come on and just speak about this. This is sick. It is horrific. And I'm just so tired. I'm so tired. Okay. So I'm sipping coffee as well. So you all just bear with me. This may be a little lengthy. I don't know. I just don't know. Whenever I stop talking, I just stop talking. But you all bear with me. So let me just read about the story, about what took place. And I'm finding out something new every day about this case, especially over on TikTok. I don't know how much of it is true with certain things that I'm hearing on TikTok, and and all of that. I'm interested in getting all of the facts. I want all of the facts concerning this case. Some of the things that was said over on TikTok, it kind of makes sense, but we don't know it to be factual. So I'm really interested in all of the facts. Okay. So here's what happened. An Illinois woman was fatally shot inside of her home this month by a sheriff's deputy who responded to her 911 call. And the deputy is now charged with murder, with unaliving, and I know I have to use certain words, unaliving in the case, a prosecutor said this week. So this happened on July 6th. Sonya Massey, 36 years old, called 911 on July 6th because she thought an intruder was in her home in the Springfield area, according to the law office of Ben Crump. And we know that Ben Crump, he takes on a lot of these cases. He is the civil rights attorney representing her family. And I pray I'm pronouncing a lot of these words properly. Sangamon County Sheriff's sheriffs, Deputy Sean Grayson, and another deputy responded to the call around 12:50 a.m., authorities said. Eventually, as the deputies were in Massey's home to gather information and make sure the resident was safe, a dispute arose over a pot of hot water, and Grayson drew his gun and eventually fired 3 times towards her, striking her once in the face, according to a court document filed Thursday by Sangamon County prosecutors. Okay. During the dispute before the shooting, Massey at one point apologized with her hands up, and Grayson at another point also yelled at her to put the pot down. Prosecutors said in the document. The sheriff's office said the deputies who were not injured reported the shooting around 1:20 a.m. Crump's office has said Massey was unarmed. And if any of you have seen the video, you can clearly see that she was unarmed. And Grayson said that he was basically attacked by a pot of boiling hot water is what his defense is for the shooting. Okay. Let's keep reading. An Illinois State Police investigation of the case did not support a finding that Grayson was justified in his use of deadly force. The state's attorney for the county, John Millhiser, said in a Wednesday news release. A Sangamon County grand jury on Wednesday indicted Grayson on 3 counts of first-degree unaliving and a count each of aggravated battery with a firearm and official misconduct, Millhiser said. At his arraignment Thursday, Grayson entered a not guilty plea and was denied pre-trial release according to court records. And a pre-trial hearing is scheduled for August 26th. The Sheriff's Department has fired Grayson, and this was said on Wednesday. And I'm going to read this last paragraph, and we're just going to chat about this. Crump said in a release last week that it was extremely hard to imagine how a woman, African American woman, shall we say, who calls the police out of fear of an intruder ends up cowed by the police in her own home. On Wednesday, Crump said the charges marked as an important milestone in the pursuit of justice for Sonya Massey's family. Um, and I'm pretty sure I'll be back on to, to continue to discuss this case because I am outraged, and there's a picture of him. I hate to even look at the sight of this animal because he is, and I'm speaking of Grayson, the so-called, well, he's no longer a police officer, and in my opinion, he shouldn't have never been a police officer because definitely, in my opinion, it is something wrong with his noggin. Okay? And just this picture, his mug shot, he looks like a psychopath. Just very unpleasant to even lay eyes on this monster. He is a monster. He is not human. He is a monster. And there's so many more that are like him. Heartless, cruel. His actions were inhumane. For him to protect and serve as an officer, his actions were clearly inhumane. And as I mentioned, there's issues that, there's things that's been said about Miss Massey, about her mental health. Her father, he did the interview, and the mother, the father, the mother, and the son, which she had a 17-year-old son. I'm not sure if she had other children, and I'm still learning as I go. Very handsome 17-year-old son who just looked completely in shock. He was asked if he saw the video, and he said that he couldn't go through it. And he seems to be a very mature young man for his age, and I pray for this family. The mother, she broke down into tears. The father is, he's angry. He's livid, as he should be, and he expressed that. He even said that the sheriff should step down and everything, but I guess they feel like they've done their part by firing Grayson or what have you. But now, mind you, from what I've been reading, Grayson has bounced around to different police departments within the course of, I don't know, since he's been on the force for 5-6 years or something like that. He's been bouncing around. He has not been stable at any police department. And I don't know how true it is, but I heard that he was released from the Army. I don't know these to be facts, and this is why I said I'm interested in getting all of the facts together, But this is absolutely horrific. But getting back to Sonya Massey's mental issues, the mother did say that she was having paranoia. She was having a lot of paranoia. She was just very unsettled, in her mind, if you will. And what did the father say? But anyhow, this came from the mother because I did see the interview, And the mother even said that she was, having thoughts that someone was going to take her life. She was having thoughts that she would no longer be here. You know, it isn't that bizarre? Isn't that bizarre? It's like she had discernment in knowing that something evil would happen to her. And she sensed it. And I believe she sensed that when these two officers stepped into her home, and the way that I didn't hear much from the other officer, and I did find out that he's a rookie, the partner. He's only been on the force, I believe, for 1 year, so he was a rookie. Because I wondered, why was Grayson in the lead position? Like, why was he the one that was so aggressive and kind of giving the orders, and all of that, and the partner was more or less silent? Um, so they partner him with this rookie, and he's a psychopath, bouncing around from different police departments. Because clearly there was something wrong with him the whole time, and they should have gotten rid of him a long time ago. You know, he should have been gone from the force. So there are a lot of unanswered questions. Getting back to, because like right now I'm all over the place thinking about the situation. When Grayson knocked on her door, he was very aggressive. He said, "What took you so long?" Just his whole demeanor towards her. And she was on the phone with 911 dispatch. And if you guys go back and watch the video or what have you, she didn't want to get off the phone with the dispatcher, even though the police was there. And she was like, no, wait a minute, And she didn't want to hang up with them. I believe she just sensed something wasn't right with this guy, and she could sense it. And then he demands her to get her ID, even though they supposedly checked the surroundings to look for an intruder. And I'm hearing that her windows were bust. And like I said, I don't know this to be factual. And this is why sometimes it's good not to go by the TikTok stories until we know all of, the answers, until we get the full story from reliable, sources, the police department, and, what have you. But they were saying that it was no reason for him to get her ID or what have you, or maybe it was. I don't know, because for a police report to be filed or what have you, I don't know. I'm not a cop. I'm just thinking that maybe there was a reason he needed her ID to write the police report, or what have you. But the situation was okay, and they should have left. But for whatever reason, it went on. After he asked her for her ID, she started fidgeting around, because I'm hearing that she had just been released from the hospital because she had on a wristband. And he asked her, "Well, how's your mental state? Everything going on good with you mentally?" So he knew that she had, some issues. And this is my thing. If these police officers aren't trained to deal with people in, a mental crisis or whatever the case may be, they shouldn't be on the force. Because we have a lot of situations today where you know, people have different issues going on, whether they're autistic or paranoid, bipolar, whatever the situation is, people are taking medication. People have all different type of issues going on, and if the police cannot be sympathetic towards these situations, they do not need to be on the force. If you have police officers today that the first thing that they want to do is pull out their weapons, they need not to be police officers, you know. And if a police officer is watching this, you guys' jobs are to protect and serve. You should be de-escalating situations, calming situations down, you know. And my thing is, we as African American people or African people, if we commit the crime, okay, fine, but arrest us. Why is it that it seems like with us as people of color, the first thing that happens is that we're shot and we're unalived? It's like we're not allowed to have mental issues. We're not allowed to have outbursts or whatever. The first thing is to eliminate us. And it's quite sickening because I have seen so many situations with police officers and Caucasian people where I've seen Caucasian people spat on police, kick them, curse them, physically get violent with them, and they have not been unalived. Arrested, sure, but arrested and alive. Why is that not the same case for us? It's almost as if, the police is not for us. And I'm not saying all police officers, because there are some great ones out there, and I applaud you all that are doing your jobs and love what you do for all people. I applaud you because we need more of you out there. But this is happening way too much, and I am so tired. I am so tired. Every other week there's a situation, and again, if we commit the crimes, arrest us. This officer, he even told her beforehand, because he told her she had the pot of boiling water. He told her to turn the water off or what have you. He turns his body cam off. And thank God that his partner still had his body cam going. And I don't know, she starts saying, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus or what have you. And there was, that interaction. And he says, don't do it or what have you. And he's like, I'll pow you in the face. So he tells her this. And she's like, okay, what have you. He pulls out his weapon. And she's like, okay, what have you. And she's like, I'm sorry. And she drops down and he does what he does. So my thing is, let's just say if he was threatened by the hot water, by the boiling hot water, even though he could have clearly stepped away. It's so many other situations that could have went on to diffuse the situation, to de-escalate the situation. You mean to tell me he couldn't have shot in the kneecap, shot in the arm? You're going to unalive this helpless young woman who was literally like the size of a little child compared to him in size. This is a big, tall guy. Both of these men, big in size, over this small, petite woman who was helpless and defenseless. Your first reaction is to unalive her. And this is why I call him a monster. And there was something going on with this guy the whole time, and it went on undetected. They just got rid of him, got rid of him, got rid of him. But the situation was not resolved with him. And for that, shame on you, police sheriffs in these other police, organizations. Shame on you for not getting rid of this monster from years ago. And it just makes me wonder, why are there so many Caucasian males on the police force? Like, what is their obsession with becoming police officers? It just makes me think that. Like, do they want the job solely so that they can, and you know where I'm going with this. Do they feel empowered because they feel like, okay, I'm the boys in blue here. I can do this, that, and the third to you. Because from what I'm seeing, it's not about protecting and serving the people. So it got to be for other reasons. I don't know, but my heart is heavy. And like I said, a lot of people over on TikTok, they are putting the pieces together. I'm hearing that the fiance of this animal knew SONYA, and there was a situation with that. Don't know it to be true. I don't know, but I pray that the truth will come out and that the Massey family will get justice. And it's just so hurtful because we can't bring these people back. It's bad enough that a lot of African American fathers are being unalived and not with their families. Now, we as black women are being taken out of here. And we just really have to pray for the decisions that we're making, because calling the police and we're unalive, like, how is that possible? How is that possible? It's almost as if like we're living back in the 50s or back in the days where we as African American people really didn't have like a lot of rights. And even when we did start to have rights, did we really have rights? And I'm just sick of it. I'm so sick of it. And to be honest with you, I'm still grieving the case of Shanquilla Robinson. Justice for Shanquilla Robinson. Like, what's happening with that case? And then this other case where the 8-year-old young girl is no longer here because her 12-year-old cousin took her life. Like, what is happening in the world? It's time to pray like never before. And not only pray, but to rededicate our lives back to the Lord. I'm telling you, get to know him. Like, it is absolutely crazy out here. The lack of compassion, and that's in the book of Timothy. The lack of compassion among us is at an all-time high. No compassion, no love for one another, and that's one of the commandments from the Lord. Love ye one another. Thou shalt not, Kill, thou shalt not kill. Love ye one another. You know, we shouldn't be violent. And no one's saying not to protect yourself. We get that. But your everyday personality is, is to be violent, is to unalive and just absolutely out of control. No love, no love at all. And I even saw there was an animation picture that someone put out on the internet about SONYA Massey or what have you. And see, this is what I mean by no compassion for a human life. No compassion. And it's just sickening. It is sickening, and I can't express that enough. When I first saw that video, I was absolutely mortified because I said, what am I watching here? I'm sure I'll be back, guys, with another video. Like I said, the more I hear about this case, I feel like this is just a safe place for us to talk about this and come up with better solutions, okay? So I will see you guys next time. Take care. God bless you.